amazing agenda in store for you guys today. 3 guest speakers, all of whom have distinguished themselves as monumental leaders in our community, are going to be sharing their experiences and tips from their path to success. My name is Brian Hu, President and Founder of the Asian Student Leadership Association.
Hi everyone, my name is Melody Yu, Chairwoman of the J-Lin Youth Committee. Today we're here to fulfill a key objective, leadership development. In society, it's important for us to help make our community better through civil service. With that said, we must improve our communication skills so we can become outstanding citizens and leaders in whatever field we strive to excel in.
Now, since you all are here, we share the same vision for leadership development and making an impact in our society. Asians today are generally seen as very technically strong, no matter what field we decide to pursue. However, very few Asians today are seen as exceptional leaders. For this reason, the Asian Student Leadership Association has held leadership workshops, seminars, and community service projects in order to further train our next generation.
Speaking of making an impact on our community, Asians have a history of not being represented by a local government official, and oftentimes their voices are not being heard. So the J-Lin Youth Committee is dedicated to teaching students all about what goes on in local governmental affairs. J-Lin, who's here with us today, is running for Johns Creek City Council. Our objective is to help him with his campaign while also developing communication and management skills.
Now, at the end of each presentation today, we're going to have a quick question and answer session for the speaker. How this is going to work is, after each presentation, I'm going to put a phone number up on this presentation screen, and then all of you will text your questions to that number, and we will then read these questions to the speakers.
All 4 speakers are not affiliated with any political entities with this event.
Now, without further ado, I'd like to introduce our first speaker today. She is the founder and managing director of multiple multi-million-dollar corporations. However, it was not until her life almost fell apart that she was finally able to face her fears in an international headline-making scandal and find her true strength, resilience, and ultimately her real views of success. I've heard her personally at the Hobie conference earlier this summer, and it was truly inspirational to me. I'm now honored to present Amanda Hammett to all of you.
Let's give a warm welcome to Amanda Hammett.
All right, sorry about that. Can you guys hear me okay? That was not what I was looking for. All right, how are you guys doing today? We're gonna have to do a little better than that. So I'm gonna ask again, and I wanna feel you this time. How you guys doing today? Okay, is it because our parents are here? Maybe? Okay, all right, I'm gonna ask you one last time, and I want like out of your seat, loud. I want them across the street in the parking lot to hear you, all right? How you doing today? I dig you right there. All right, do you guys mind if I step down off the stage and I get onto the floor? Is that okay? All right, let's do that, if I don't hurt myself. Okay, so like Brian and Melody said, my name is Amanda Hammett. And we're going to get to know each other a little bit today. I'm kind of hoping that by the end of today that we're going to be really good friends, actually. I actually live near this community and I am invested in this community. So I really, really am hoping that we'll be friends later today. You know, for the young people, we'll be trading pictures on Insta, all that good stuff. Sound good? All right. So here's the deal. When you're becoming friends with somebody, typically, you get to know each other. And we're gonna have to speed up that process today because we only have till 6 o'clock. So what we're gonna do is you guys are gonna find out a lot about me today, and then we'll pick up with learning about you through Insta and Twitter, all right? So here we go. All right, one thing that you should know about me, because I'm gonna be your new older, wiser best friend, supposedly. Supposedly on the wiser. So one thing that you're gonna learn about me is that I'm pretty competitive. Is anybody else here competitive? Raise your hand. Okay, I don't see nearly enough hands. I don't believe you. Thank you for really owning that. Thank you. In the orange. All right, now, put your hands back up if you're competitive. All right, look around. This is time to call out your friends. Yeah. Now, I don't mean sports, I mean grades, I mean board games, I mean everything. All right, thank you for, it was the board games, wasn't it? All right, okay. So here's the deal. I am super competitive. My friends and family will not play board games with me anymore. But there's actually one story that I'm going to kind of let you guys be the judge on if you're more competitive than I am. And this is a little embarrassing to share, but as your new best friend, I'm going to share this information with you. A few years ago, actually at the Johns Creek LA Fitness, I was taking water aerobics. Do you guys know what water aerobics is? Okay, so I heard some no's. All right, so water aerobics. You're in the water, and you got to tread water because you don't want to drown. That's important. But you're also doing aerobics, so you're like moving, but you're trying not to drown, and it's this whole complicated matter. Okay, so I'm doing water aerobics, and I love it. I'm doing it 3, 4, 5 days a week, and I'm into it. And I'm like, yo, this is awesome. And I am verbally encouraging my classmates during class. Are we following? Yeah. I'm into it. Verbal encouragement. All right. So this goes on for almost a year. And eventually, one day, I was pulled aside after class by the instructor. And the instructor, I should point out at the time, she was this really cute former college cheerleader. She was probably all of 5 feet tall, and she was very peppy, and she was all like, hi, all the time. Okay, so her name is Jenny. And so Jenny comes up to me after class one day, and she's like, Amanda, do you think we could talk? And I was like, for some reason, and I'm 5'8", for some reason when I spoke to Jenny, I had the urge to do spirit fingers all the time too. So I was like, yeah. And I became a valley girl. I don't know why. So anyway, after class, she comes up to me and we're talking, and she's like, you see, Amanda, the problem is that we've had some complaints. And I was like, yeah, Jenny, the pool was really cold this morning. And she was like, don't be silly. The complaints weren't about the pool. They were about you. Yeah. Things might have went downhill quickly from there. Apparently my classmates thought that I might have been a little too aggressive in water aerobics, maybe a little too competitive in water aerobics. Basically, I was given I was asked to never return to water aerobics. Now, as my new friends, I'm going to share this with you. There's a couple of things about this story that makes it just a little bit worse. The first thing is that I was pregnant with my son at the time. I was 2 weeks away from his due date, so I was what you see today plus another 50 pounds of pure stomach. So that was the first thing. But the really, really bad part was I was a good 30 to 40 years younger than everybody else in the class. Yeah, I get competitive with everybody, apparently. So yes, in my defense, nobody did drown. There was some spit up of water, but no drowning, actually. So, all right. Now raise your hands if you think you're more competitive than I am. Thank you, sir. We'll be friends, for sure. All right, anybody else? Any takers? No? Yes. Yes, I see you. All right, couple more. All right, so that's the thing about competitiveness. I'm very competitive. competitive. I own it. Thank you guys for owning it. You, sir, in the front. I dig it. But my competitive nature has gotten me into trouble a time or two at LA Fitness and other places. But my competitive nature has also saved me a time or two. We'll get into a little bit more about that. So, why don't you guys do me a favor, and this is more for the young people in the crowd, but parents, I want you to go along with it, okay? So everybody, please close your eyes. All right. Now, for the young people in the room, I want you guys to think about the day that you turn 30. Oh my God, you're so old. Now, the parents in the room, like myself, you're like, I saw 30 like a long time ago. And that's okay. Imagine your next big milestone. All right, so for the young people, back to 30. What do you imagine? Think about it quietly in your mind, with your eyes closed. Now, I happen to know that there are 3 different groups of people sitting in this room. And again, I want you to keep your eyes closed for this little activity. I happen to know that there's the first group. And this group is a lot like I was at your age. Raise your hand if you know exactly how your life is going to happen. You know where you're going to college, you know what age you're going to be when you graduate, when you start your career. You know everything. You've got it all mapped and planned out. Keep your eyes closed and raise your hand. Everybody's eyes are closed. I don't need to see any eyeballs. All right, put your hands down. Everybody keep your eyes closed. There's a second group in here. This group, you imagine your life, and you've got an idea, but the details are fuzzy. They're fuzzy. If that's you, raise your hand. Okay, all right. Bigger group, but okay. Put your hands down, keep your eyes closed. There is a third group, and you are thinking, this lady is crazy. That's okay, you're not the first. All right, so this third group, you imagine your life at 30, or your next big milestone, parents, and you've got nothing. It's a blank screen. Raise your hand if that's you. All right. Put your hands down. Everybody open your eyes. The thing is that I've been in all 3 of those places. Some of them were scary. Some of them were, in a weird way, relieving. But I've been in all 3 of those places. I have been where you sit, literally. So, like I mentioned, when I was your age, so the young adults in the room, when I was your age, I had my entire life planned out. I knew where I was going, when I was going. I knew how it was going to happen. My father is a rocket scientist. He's a really smart dude. He was a little disappointed that the math and science genes did not seem to hit my brain. But he did think that I was really book smart, and he also thought that I was, let's just say, a little argumentative as a teenage girl. Maybe a time or two. So my father really wanted me to go to law school. So that was my plan. I was going to go to college, and then I was going to go into law school. So I picked the college that I would go on to attend with the thoughts that I was going to law school right after. And for 4 years of college, that's exactly what my plan was. But for some reason, I woke up one day, beginning of my senior year of college, and I was like, no, law school's not it for me. I don't know what is, but law school's not it. Now, up until this point of my life, from the time I was 10 to the time I'm now 21, my life had been planned. Every single step. And all of a sudden, I found myself in this place where I knew I wanted to be successful, but I didn't know what that next step was for me. So I went on with my senior year of college, and I'm like, I'm gonna figure it out, I'll figure it out, I'll figure it out. But I might have avoided discussing this fact with my parents. You know, the whole not going to law school fact. I became really, really good at deflecting. I became really, really good at, magically my cell phone would drop calls to when my parents were discussing law school. I don't know how that happened. It was magical, right? I see some people saying, yes, I've done that, but my parents are sitting here, I can't say that. Yes. All right, so for the next several months, that was my game plan. Until I figured it out, I was just going to avoid discussing law school with my parents. So I did. Unfortunately, I got to 2 weeks before graduation and I still had no plan. So I had to bite the bullet and I had to call my mom and dad and break the news. I called my father because I knew that he was going to be the difficult one. And I told him that I was not going to go to law school. Now, I admit I made a mistake in not telling my parents for almost an entire school year. But the day that I called my father, let's just say that our conversation was colorful on his end. There was several instances where he let me know that he felt like I might be throwing my life away. And, well, we agreed to disagree that day. So, now, I hung up the phone with my father, and less than 2 minutes later, I get a frantic phone call from my mother. And my mother is so sweet. She's tiny and sweet. And her voicemail went something like this. Oh my God, Amanda! You're throwing your life away! Yes. That was my voicemail. So for the next 2 weeks, I was focused on finals. My mother was calling and leaving me 15 voicemails a day that went, oh my God, Amanda, what are you gonna do? You're throwing your life away. And then she'd hang up 15 times a day for 2 weeks. So I still didn't have a plan, but I knew that I was graduating, and so the day of graduation, I said, look, Mom, Dad, please let's put on a smiley face. Let's get through today. We're not going to discuss my lack of a future. Let's just get through today. So we did, and the day was great. So I had told my parents that after graduation, I was going to spend my summer finding myself. Does anybody know what that means, to find yourself? Raise your hand, or yell it out. What do you think it is? Okay, do some crazy stuff from my friend in the front. Okay, what else? Anybody? Yes? What? Find my own way, yes. What else? Yell at me. All right, find what I really want to do. Well, let me tell you what I was planning to do. I grew up in a small town that happens to sit on a lake. My plan was to spend my summer hanging out with my friends on a boat on the lake, and that was how I was going to find myself. So you were closest, sir. All right, so that was my plan for the summer, to find myself. So 2 days after graduation, I had packed up my apartment, I put everything I owned into my car, and I drove home. And a funny thing happened when I got to my house. Parents, you're going to see where this is going to go pretty quickly. Kids, it might take you a second. So I pull up to my parents' house, and magically, my mom and dad are standing outside the door, waiting on me. Yeah. So, FYI, if your parents ever meet you outside the door, it's not going to go well for you. And it didn't go well for me either. So I come up and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm the youngest, by the way. So I come up and I'm like, oh, my parents, their baby is home. Of course they're going to greet me outside. They're so excited I'm here, right? So one thing I didn't tell you, my father is a rocket scientist, but he is also retired from the military. So my father has built something like a house, like, okay, so this is my father. And then my mom is little, she's like 5'2", in heels, so she's all like, ah, you know, she's like that. So here's my father, and my mother. Okay, so we got the visual here. All right, so please don't tell my parents this is how I talk about them. Okay, so I come up and my mom, she gives me this huge, huge hug, and she's like, oh my goodness, my baby, you're here. You know this is temporary, right? That was weird. But my father is actually a man of very, very few words. He's like, you got 2 weeks. And he walks off. So talk about a drop the mic moment. Yeah. Now for the next few hours, there might have been some scenes reenacted from, how many of you guys watch The Kardashians or Real Housewives of anything? Any takers? Yes, thank you. I appreciate your honesty, I personally am. All right, so for the next couple hours, my house was like many of their episodes. There was a lot of crying, it was very dramatic. I didn't throw any plates, but it was dramatic. I was the one saying things like, you're ruining my life, you know, things like that. But then, after about 2.5 hours, that competitive nature that we've discussed previously, it started to kick back in. And I was like, no. You aren't gonna kick me out in 2 weeks, because I'm already gonna be gone. 10 days, and I'm out. And I was. 10 days later, I had a job.